Hi everyone, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Happy middle of the week. Today we're going to talk about a very important topic that some of you have been asking me, and I really want to make sure that we address because it really has a lot to do with overall wellness and healing, and also manifestation and creation. We're going to talk about sexual energy and neutralizing sexual energy and energy hygiene. And we're also going to be utilizing a technique today for cleaning. I'm going to take you through a cleansing practice to help the body neutralize and cut cords energetically in the body. So this is really important because it has a lot to do with many different aspects. Sexual energy is one of the most important aspects of ourselves as humans, as creators. And really, one of the most incredibly and powerful aspects of the human is being able to create life, to bring life. We are designed in such a powerful way as these infinite conscious beings that manifest into the physical. So our one of the aspects of this physical body is to create life and to bring this life into the earth, into the planet. And so when this sexual union occurs with a man and a woman, there is life that is created and a tremendous amount of exchanges that occur energetically. And it's important to understand how that happens. The exchange of receiving and the exchange of giving, which is an exchange that occurs in many different dynamics in relationships that are non-sexual as well. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as we get deeper into the topic. But sexual energy and sexual exchange is very important for a woman and a man to understand how these occur and what we're taking on when we have sexual intercourse. The body, as a multidimensional structure of information, is holding on to massive amounts of information that are physical and non-physical aspects. So when we unite with someone else, when there is sexual intercourse, the exchange that happens is not just physical, it's also energetic. And so we have to become aware of that when we are, parting or separate from this person, we take on a lot of things energetically from our partner. So, for example, if the body is currently coming into sexual intercourse from a place of fear or anxiety or doubt, or somehow they are not in alignment in the vibration of love or actually unconditional love, the exchange that happens between yourself and a partner is vibrating at that vibrational frequency. And so it allows you to be open energetically to taking on all of the vibrational match programs that your partner is holding on to. Okay, so you're going to be taking all of that on. And so they're also going to be taking on your vibrational match programs that you're holding on to. And these are contractual agreements that are vibrationally coded into your body. Now, along with everything that we're talking about, this kind of exchange energetic that happens, physical and non-physical exchange that is occurring, takes a lot. What's the most important aspect of the sexual energy is the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra and the root chakra are managing for a man and woman in different dynamics. Different aspects of those chakras play different roles because the divine masculine aspect of the sexual energy is the root chakra of safety, of holding space, of making a safe place for the divine feminine to be able to express itself. And the divine feminine aspect, which is mostly coming in through the second chakra, which is the womb. It is the center of creation. Of course, both men and women utilize both of these aspects energetically, but in the application of having sexual intercourse, depending on the subconscious programs that are running at the time of the intercourse, are going to dictate the vibrational signature, the union, how information is being exchanged, and basically co-creating the next experience as a result of this exchange with the partner. So it's really important to be aware of what we're holding on to emotionally, subconsciously, mentally in the body, and we want to be able to move through. Why do we want to learn how to work with this energy and how to cleanse out all of these stagnant programs? Is because if we have sex or have intercourse with a partner that is vibrating at a different frequency that's lower than us, or holding on to a lot of pain, trauma, a lot of cyclical programs that are imbalanced sexual energy, we are going to take all of that on. Okay, and we're not talking about man or woman. Both of them can play this role of giving and receiving depending on how they are presenting themselves in the relationships. And it also depends on the imbalances of their expression as this divine feminine or as the divine masculine. I did a video earlier, a week ago, I think, talking about the balance of the divine feminine and masculine when we talk about creative life force energy. And it's really important that to carry on that conversation from there is the balancing of the divine feminine and masculine traits of ourself, or how we express those traits, how we are embodying those traits, are going to play a tremendous role in how we engage in relationships with one another. And it's not just going to be in loving relationships, like intimate relationships. We're talking about all relationships as an expression of how we give and we receive. Our understanding of giving and receiving is basically the expression of all the programs that we have stored within the sacral chakra. If your sacral chakra is out of balance, it's toxic. If it has unresolved trauma, if it is imbalanced in some way and holding on to any kind of programs of being unworthy or through fragmentation, that is what's going to create the program for how we're going to find our vibrational match in partners. And it's also going to play out the roles of the sexual aspect, the creative aspect of each one of those roles. So divine feminine and masculine, they both have creative roles to them. Okay, so how they play those dynamics out is going to play a tremendous role in how we are uniting with our partners. So for example, if we were raised in an environment that we missed our mother or our father, one of those expressions we're missing, our concept of how we have to play those roles within ourselves, in the exchange of giving, receiving in relationships, and also in how we are embodying that feminine and masculine aspect, is going to play a role in the kind of partner that we find. Why? Because as a role of the union of these two, feminine and masculine energies, everything in the universe is working towards returning back to wholeness. That's the divine blueprint, the divine blueprint of the body, of the human, of this human experience, is to experience all possible experiences and be able to return from those experiences back into whole. So in that same way that we play out that dynamic of expression of life, when we come into sexual intercourse, we are finding our whole aspect. We become one when we unite with a partner. And so this union occurs on many different levels. It happens energetically, emotionally, subconsciously with our subconscious programs. And so everything that we're finding or attracting out is going to resonate or mirror any aspect of ourselves that is imbalanced or out of balance as well. So it's going to dictate and design the kind of relationship that we're going to have. Now, the kind of relationship that we have with ourselves is the same kind of relationship that we're having with our partners. So if we lack the understanding of how to love ourselves and how to be supportive for ourselves, nurturing, protective, have healthy boundaries, have healthy exchange, with one another, that means that we're giving and receiving just as much in our interactions, then we're going to be playing that out with our partner as well. And also in sexual energy, this is subconscious programs that also play out. So anytime that a partner is playing out any kind of imbalanced sexual roles, or wants to play out imbalanced sexual roles, they are an indication of the kind of level of emotional support that they have for themselves, and things that are lacking energetically in their understanding of their whole self. Okay, so this kind of healing is incredibly important to understand, because it affects how we manifest into reality. We are creative beings, so we are constantly creating all the time. We create with our intention, we create with our emotions, we create with our actions into this holographic plane of creation that we're sharing, in other words. So when it comes to the creative life force energy of coming into a union with a partner, we are really playing out that God role that we have. And so there's a responsibility to that role, from the contractual agreements at a soul level, at a spiritual level, with these people that we're coming in contact with our partners. Every single partner that we come into contact with in this lifetime, we have an agreement. And those agreements are pre-designed, in a sense, by our vibrational frequency and the information that we hold within our entire genetic make. Okay, so our holographic expression in the physical form is holding within it an encoded information in the DNA of all of the information from our parents' lineage, mother and father lineage, feminine and masculine lineage, and our ancestors. But before that, we have other overlays of connection that are interconnecting us to the entire human race. And so many lifetimes, if we've been here many times, we have interacted with one another in different dynamics and played different roles of that feminine, masculine energy. So anytime that we have contractual agreements or unresolved agreements with people in anywhere in that timeline that we are living simultaneously, right? So we may think that our partner that we have now is someone that we had in a past lifetime, but in reality, we're playing out all of those possible timelines are being played out in the present moment. And so this is why we have the ability of healing those timelines, transmuting those timelines, and rebalancing. The ability that we have to reconnect and revisit these kinds of past life experiences allow an opportunity for us to understand any imbalances and contractual agreements that are agreed upon on the subconscious level. So if we have a very traumatic past life experience with a partner, in this life, we're more than likely going to be resolving or, made to call. And again, we're not talking about past lives as a linear timeline. We're talking about what things are happening now simultaneously. That past life is playing out energetically on a different timeline for us. So we have the ability of integrating and healing tremendously and transmuting a very massive amount of information through this sexual intercourse. Sexual intercourse is a very broad topic. There is so much to talk about it, and I won't be able to cover everything here in this video. We're only going to be looking at some basic, and I've done other videos on this as well. But for the purpose of this video, which is very general energetic hygiene and understanding the exchange that occurs during intercourse, it's really important to understand how these contractual agreements bring us together as these relationships that we play out in this lifetime. Those contractual agreements that we're making are basically providing an opportunity for ascension for these two halves, in a sense, because we are all one. But because this is a match, because this is a vibrational match, this is what we find in our partner. We are finding a mirror to our vibrational match. And so when we have that union, it provides an incredible opportunity to heal. It means that our contractual agreement is to rebalance the imbalance of the divine feminine and masculine, and to create from there a new expression of healing that will help heal both of these lineages. And that's what the union is for, is to bring in, if it is completely in alignment, if that union, that agreement is completely coming from unconditional love and a high integration of oneself, each individually, then the dynamic is created, the opportunity is created for bringing life, which should be an extension of healing for these two lineages that have united. So I understand it's a lot to kind of look at, but we combine ourselves and we unite with our partners on this planet Earth in order to heal those ancestral lineages if we choose to bring another life as a result. So a child, basically, as a result of that union. Now, when we don't bring life into the timeline through intercourse, there is also an opportunity for healing during that exchange. But there is a very interesting overlay that occurs in the three-dimensional matrix, which has to do with the manipulation of sexual energy, which we are all quite interconnected to very early on coming into the matrix because of indoctrination and programming and the inversion of understanding of sexual creative life force energy. And it's very important for us to understand that inversion that occurs in a very deep way, subconsciously, in a man and a woman. And we receive this programming through the music that we're listening, through everything that we're listening to in the entertainment industry and all of these concepts, beliefs, and even through religion and culturally, all of that is designing our understanding of the role that each man and woman has to play out in that sexual connection. When that time for that union comes, we are playing out roles and programs. So the first aspect of being able to heal and have a very healing relationship, finding relationships that are not repetitive and cyclical, because what ends up happening is that because we're a vibrational match to our partner, all of the belief systems that have been indoctrinated and programmed within this ancestral lineage, both from your mother and father, are going to be a vibrational match to one of their partner. And the match is not going to be always so apparent. Don't forget that because we live in a world of polarity, the mirror means that we may see the outside cover, but subconsciously their core belief system is what's going to be the match to us. Okay, so that's why we really have to understand ourselves on a very deep level in order to, when we see the partner, we can really understand and see very clearly in 1 minute. You can really understand where their programming is coming from in order to identify if you want to play out that healing role through that union, through that relationship. Okay, and so in sexual intercourse, when we combine with someone on an energetic level, the entire electromagnetic field that we have running through the body, which of course is a toroidal field, becomes one with the person that we're uniting with. And so our entire physical body and our etheric bodies, our chakra layers and our spiritual layers, all of those layers are becoming merged depending on the awareness of each person, are becoming merged. And depending on the awareness of each person also will dictate whether the dynamic is going to be more of a receiving dynamic or a giving dynamic. And this happens energetically. So if we are playing out as a man or a woman a wounded feminine or wounded masculine role, it's going to dictate how we exchange energy. So you might take on all of their wounded masculine programs that mirror whatever is unresolved within you at that time of intercourse, of the union of that relationship. So keep in mind that you really pull in energetically contractual agreements. You can pull in entities, attachments, and all of this karmic energy or karmic you can say funk that is stuck within the energetic body, this stagnant information, you can pull into your body as well. And this information deposits first energetically, but then also physically. Okay, so it really transforms the entire body, and this is just in a one-time exchange with someone. If this is just a one-time exchange that you're having with someone, you are completely open and pulling in all that information. And if this is something that is a long-term relationship, then there is a merging that happens on a deeper level, right? Where that's a contractual agreement that was made on a deeper level, because there's many layers of unresolved information that has to surface as the relationship evolves. So it's every moment with our partners is an opportunity to reset and become aware and conscious, and basically clear old contracts that no longer work for the two lineages, and be able to provide an open space for healing contractual agreements in that relationship. And it's incredibly important to do that, because otherwise we're playing out these kind of wounded feminine and masculine roles. And if we are playing out those roles, they're just going to manifest themselves in the relationship, so cause a lot of trauma, a lot of problems. There's going to be an imbalance in giving and receiving, and sooner or later the relationship will fall apart, because it wasn't coming in from that union of awareness. So anything that is done in a state of unawareness is always going to result in chaos and more you're designing more karmic connections, basically. Anything that is done in awareness, so if the union is coming from an actual non-physical attraction, coming from unconditional love, then that union that's going to occur is going to be an exchange of respect and balance. Again, what is unconditional love? It is the ability to accept all things as a part of yourself, but in that requires a tremendous amount of grounding, balance, and integration of our own darkness, our own shadow self, that does not allow us to embody the creator self. And so what happens when we come into these unions is, if we are not coming from that perspective, we're playing out always the imbalanced roles. So all of that, all of the belief systems of being unworthy, of being, not this creator self, of being not enough, not being beautiful enough, not being intelligent, not being a provider, not being this masculine self, whatever role that we're playing out that's a product of our lineages, is going to manifest and dictate how we exchange with the partner. Okay, so that the healing that has to happen deeply in the subconscious mind. And what we want to try to do is coming into these kinds of more conscious relationships, which are, of course, you taking full responsibility for yourself, because you're aware of what your programs are, and you're working to deprogram those programs so that you can apply the free will, and that allows you to choose whether you want to play out toxic roles or constructive roles. Don't forget that any time that we play out these roles that are out of balance, we become codependent, okay? So when we're playing out parasitic, or when we are not aware of ourselves, when we don't love ourselves, we don't accept ourselves fully, we become parasitic, meaning that we're looking outside for that love. And so the relationship that we are a match to is going to be a codependent one. Always. It's always going to be a codependent relationship. And the codependency can be very, very deeply unconscious. It can be an exchange of energy that you don't even realize. On the surface level, the relationship can seem wonderful, and you guys are, meeting eye to eye to many different things. But when you really get to the core of the roles of the masculine and the feminine, there can be an imbalance, and they're going to gently come up and surface in everyday interaction. So for example, you might say, oh, she's a wonderful woman, but I never really feel like I can be myself, or I never feel like I can express myself. And so all of these programs that we're playing out are dynamics that were already out of balance within us. The purpose of finding partners and having these partners, choosing to have a partner, is to be able to heal them. They provide us an opportunity to see all of the wounds that we have unresolved. And this happens in any union relationship, whether, and let me clarify that, whether it's with our parents, The opportunity of relationship, of interaction, is to heal wounded programs, because that's what we're here to do. As infinite consciousness, we fragment in order to reunite and come back into that unconditional love. So it through our parent relationship, through our partner relationship, and even through our child relationship, we are learning and we are finding mirrors to help us identify the imbalanced programs that we are playing out. Okay, so when we talk about sex, when we unite with one another here on a sexual intercourse, we are opening all of the aspects of ourself. Our chakras are opening, and all of the aspects of ourself that are in alignment energetically with that partner, we can take on if we're not aware. Okay, so what happens in relationships when there isn't love? This comes from just a physical need. Really, it's that codependency playing out, and so the relationship is always going to be based on a codependent, imbalanced expression of a union. So to correct that, both partners have to come into awareness. What happens when one partner comes into awareness and the other one doesn't, or doesn't want to evolve from that place, is the separation, of course. Okay, and the separation happens, it can happen in short-term relationships or long-term marriages. We are constantly evolving. We are all moving, right? So we're always evolving. So our ability to become aware of ourselves and take control of those dynamics is imperative, really, for your ascension, for the ascension of the whole. So let's get into it. So what happens when we have these exchanges? So we take on other people's energy. Every time that we exchange energy with one another, we have to have energetic hygiene, and that happens really in any time. Whether I meet you, whether I talk to you, there is a cord, energetic cord, that's being created. The cords that we create with our sexual partners are much deeper, and they are intricately interconnected with more than one chakra, usually, than just a superficial hello, or a sexual exchange. For example, if there is an attraction between yourself and another person, that energetic exchange that happened, there is an awareness that is made within those two partners, and even that creates an energetic cord that is a different kind of cord, as opposed to if we were to say hello to someone, there is a cord that's being created. Sexual energy is incredibly powerful, and the vibrational wavelength, the thickness of that wavelength is very it affects the body in more than one way, because it's almost as if it's the difference between, let's say, internet connection. You have a really high definition connection, and you have a connection that's an older landline that's not really moving information as quickly. These kinds of sexual energetic cords are much broader in a sense. They pack a lot more information. So that being said, the cords are thicker, and unless we're aware, we're not able to really remove them so easily, because then relationships can become codependent and then last a long time. So in these long-standing relationships, like marriages, for example, the cords that we create are basically coming from all parts of the body, because we have cohabited with a person for a long time, and so we're a vibrational match to more than one of those contractual agreements. Okay, so the work that has to be done constantly, if you are in this road of awareness and energetic healing, is to constantly reset and clean those energetic cords. Constantly be working with them, evolving, healing, becoming aware. If we are stagnant and we don't move this energy, we're going to be stuck, and we're going to be coming into a relationship that's always coming back into this blockage, and we're going to be playing out these blocked dynamics in the relationship. And so then over time the relationship becomes torturous, because we're always can't get past these kinds of aspects of ourselves. So we want to try to alleviate that and cleanse that and neutralize those kinds of energy exchanges, in other words. So I'd like you to join me. We're going to start working. I'm going to take you through an exercise to help you, first of all, identify the blockage that you have within you with your partner. And we're going to cut cords. We're going to do a very cleansing energy. The kind of cleansing energy that has to happen here is on a physical level as well as etheric level. The cords that connect to you are going to be coming from the sacral and root chakra, and also sometimes the emotional body as well, of course. But for sexual intercourse, these are the aspects, the chakras that are packing onto those informations. So what we want to do is we want to go in and we want to create a vortex of energy that's going to come in to this sexual organ, and it's going to create a vortex that will absorb and clear out all of the programs that you have taken on from past partners. This should be something that we should be doing all the time, especially if we're very sexually active. This is something that we should be cleansing and neutralizing all the time. If we are in a long-term relationship, we should also be doing that energetically, because every day, every moment is a choice of a timeline. And so we can choose at any moment how we wish to experience things with one another. And we can heal or we can destruct, right? Every moment as a creator self, you have a choice. So neutralizing those in a long-term relationship is also incredibly important, because otherwise you're throwing back the same information back and forth, okay? So that is very healing. This can also help heal the body. It's important to note any kind of effects that you have in the body, any illness, any pains and aches that are in the physical body that are connected to the sacral and root chakra can be a result of imbalanced exchange energy. The sacral chakra refers to giving and receiving. So any time that we're playing out the role of an imbalanced, so basically you're doing more for your partner than your partner is doing for you, or you're giving more of yourself, or you're taking more of your partner, that's an imbalanced exchange that has to be corrected. And it's probably one that you're playing out in all your relationships, not just with them. So these are the kind of programs that we want to clear out from the root and sacral chakra. So we're going to do that. We're going to bring in that vortex of energy, and it's going to create a vortex that's going to clear out all of those programs. And I invite you to do this kind of work by reviewing all of your partners. And I have done this in my life, where I have reviewed every single one of my partners that I've been in my long-term relationships with, cleaning out all of those programs that I took on from them. Everything that, it's an exchange, don't forget. So you're also taking back your life force into your body. Because what happens is when we have traumatic relationships and there is an intrusion of our boundaries from the sexual perspective. So for example, if you had sex when you didn't really want to have sex, or you were forced to have sex, or you were angry when you had sex, when you're coming from that kind of vibrational frequency, you're creating a tremendous fragmentation in the body. Okay, and so that causes an imbalance. So when that happens, you are wide open to any kinds of entities, attachments, and a match to really dark energies that are vibrating at that. And it's one of the biggest manipulative energy overlays that we have on the earth, on planet Earth, is the manipulation of sexual energy. As a matter of fact, a lot of darker aspects, like for example, these people that play out these roles, these ritualistic roles, are utilizing sex to destruct, because one of the most powerful ways to destruct and fragment a human soul is by destroying their ability to create. Because we are designed as our natural blueprint to be creators, the inversion of that would be to destruct the creative life force of any living organism. And so when we come into parasitic consciousness, the rejection of our own awareness, we are playing out some of those destructive roles. And we can really immerse ourselves into, these indoctrinated by these ideas of what sexuality should be, which is a complete inversion of the truth. Sexual energy is creative, divine creative energy, one of the most powerful energies. So when you invert that into an idealism or the practice or the embodiment of sexual energy all the time, you are a constant drain of your own energy. You are draining your energy, because anyone that attaches to you from the sexual aspect is taking and receiving. It's an imbalanced exchange. So we have to own our space, and we have to be aware, both men and women, of their energetic space, aware of what they're opening themselves up to, okay? Because it's more than just with our partners. This is a much larger network of information that we're talking about. So we're going to clear out all of those blockages and programs, and we're going to go up to the chakras and clear out any imbalanced sexual programs that we have as well, that we're holding on to, in order to come into creative life force. Okay, very good. So I want you to visualize now that you are grounding down to the center of the earth. So visualize an energetic cord that connects your waist, the pelvic bone, down to the center of the earth. You're going to ground yourself. And I want you to notice in this exercise that when you are grounded down to the center of the earth and you're in the present moment, a lot of what also causes resistance to be in the present moment, if you have a lot of imbalanced sexual energy, is really going to come up and make it very hard. If you know, for teens, for example, when they're going through puberty, they're learning how to manage the sexual energy. And so there's a lot of energy that wants to come out and express itself. So it's important for them to really learn grounding, because it allows them to balance the positive and negative charges of the body. So visualize your grounding cord down to the center of the earth. Okay, really nice and solid. Becoming aware of your body, visualize your protective field all around you. Inhaling deeply and exhaling. Okay, very good. And for this exercise, we're going to be running healing energy, because this kind of healing work that you're doing requires a tremendous amount of nurturing and support for the body, for the multidimensional body. So I want you to visualize a color that represents healing. Okay, so what color is that? You're going to visualize from the center of the earth, you're going to pull up a powerful wave of that healing energy into the body, and it's going to create a vortex. And this vortex is going to create almost like a movement of energy that's going to pull everything that we identify and we find, that we discover in the body of stagnant sexual energy. It's going to help us flush out of the body. So visualize that healing energy moving like a vortex of energy, okay? Inhale deeply and exhale. From the universe, from source, visualize bringing down cosmic energy, a gold energy that comes down through the crown of your head, mixing with that healing earth energy at the center core of your body. Go ahead and visualize that. Your healing energy with that cosmic energy. Inhaling deeply and exhaling. Breath is incredibly important when you're working with sexual energy, okay? Because you are moving that life force in and out of your body in order to create. So as you're visualizing moving these energies through the body, we're going to create a channel of an elimination that's going to go down the center of the earth into the core, and the earth functions like a recycling mechanism. Everything that we're cleaning out of the body is going to go out that way, and the earth clears and transmutes all of that heavy energy into life force. So with every breath you take, you're going to inhale deeply and exhale, focusing on release, healing that. We're going to go back up to the solar plexus. You're going to pull up to visualize about 80% of that energy going up through the ground, to the crown of the head. And you're going to visualize like a fountain of that energy coating the outside of your protective field. Go ahead and visualize that. Inhaling deeply and exhaling. You're going to go back to the solar plexus. You're going to pull up that final 10% of that healing and cosmic energy. Move it around your body now. It's really important. You're going to visualize penetrating into the pores, the flesh, the muscles, the bones, down to the cellular level of your body. Visualize absorbing this very healing energy into the body. Okay. Very good. Very good. And we're going to begin. For this exercise, I want you to visualize pure white light. And you're going to visualize pure white light coming from source. Okay? You're going to visualize this white light coming inside of the sexual organ. So for the women, it's the womb. For the men, it comes in right in the testicles. So go ahead and visualize creating a really powerful vortex of energy right there. And with every breath you take, you're going to speed up that vortex. And I also want you to notice in which direction it's spinning. Is it moving to the right or to the left? Become aware of that. That's going to indicate to you what you need. Okay? And I'll show you in a second why. If this is moving to the left, it means that you need to heal, you need to receive. If it's moving to the right, it means that you need to release, cleanse, purify, detoxify, give. Okay? So go ahead and visualize which direction that vortex is moving. Your body is speaking to you right now. You are connecting to the intelligence of the body that is self-healing. So what I want you to do is I want you to begin to review your partner, any kind of dynamics and exchange. Notice and become aware of sexual energy that is trapped within the body. So take a moment to become aware of that. Okay? And you're going to be working with your partner. So, you're going to visualize your partner. If you have a partner, if you don't have a partner, you can start working with your past partners. Okay? So go ahead and visualize taking a look at this person, and you're going to shine your crown light on top of them, and you're going to see a contract. This contract represents all of the contractual agreements that you have with them. And for this practice, we're looking at the exchange of sexual life force energy. So we're taking a look at what is the exchange that has to happen here. What is the dynamic, the role that we're playing? So go ahead and take a look at that contractual agreement and see what you can pick up, becoming aware of the agreement that is made with this partner, whether it's past or present. Becoming aware of that contract, okay? Becoming aware. And as you notice that, you're going to also be able to identify the role that you play in this exchange. So is there an imbalance in exchange? Are we giving more than we are receiving? And sometimes when we have really deep-rooted fragmentation, it's really hard for us to become aware of the imbalance in our relationship, because there is a deep need and a codependency to this love energy that we are not providing for ourselves. So it might take a little bit of layers of unpacking as you're doing this work. But go ahead and destroy that contract completely if you're ready to let go of it. As you become more aware of the information that you're providing yourself, okay, as you're reading, as you're becoming aware of this exchange. Okay, and what I want you to do is I want you to visualize this cord that you have with you and your partner. You're going to visualize this cord is representing all the imbalanced sexual exchange that has occurred. Okay? Go ahead and cut the cord on their end. And what I want you to do is I want you to really connect with your body. And I want you to identify how this cord connects to your body. Notice how you're going to notice that is, where do you have tension? What part of the body is tight right now as you're addressing this in your body? And as you're going to visualize pulling out this cord, which is going to look like tentacles, it's going to look like many little lines or little, like tentacles is the best way that I can describe it, but go ahead and look and see what it looks like to you. You know, and if it has another shape, that's perfectly fine. Where is this connected to? What you'll notice is that it's connected to more than one part of the body, more than one chakra. The more you understand your chakras, the more you're going to be able to identify what that means. And you can basically identify the relationship in 1 minute by understanding which chakras you're being connected to through these cords. So go ahead and visualize pulling out these cords, and as they pull out, you're going to feel it leave the body, and as it leaves, notice what information comes up. This is allowing you to become aware of the imbalanced exchange that was occurring between yourself and this partner. Okay, go ahead and take a look at that. Inhale deeply and exhale. And you might discover a lot of things that you never knew about your partner and about the exchange dynamics that occurs here. This is not only just sexual, this is energetic. So, you know, is there power play going on? Is this a constant competition? Is there a constant mother-son or father-daughter role being played out? Notice that. Where are there imbalances in those connections? Okay. As you're pulling this out of the body, and I really want you to make sure that you are clearing it, releasing it until you don't feel it anymore in your body. Trust your intuition. This is where we're training mind-body connection, is to be able to identify very clearly when you have eliminated those contracts, okay, those cords. So once you're done, I want you to, you're going to set the intention, and I want you to have kind of like this photographic video cinematic memory that every time that we've had an exchange, sexual exchange with this partner, we're going to be retrieving our life force back into our body. Okay, so you just review in your mind how long you have been with this partner, and you're going to take back the life force, because every single one of those exchanges was an energetic imprint of information that is in your body, which you are storing. So as you begin to review the partner and the relationship, take back your life force. With every deep breath that you take, you are taking back your life force, taking back your life force. And you're going to visualize that that vortex in the sexual organ is going to absorb all of those imprints of sexual energy that are stagnant in the body. And this can really, a lot of my clients that work with me on this, cause a tremendous amount of healing. If you have some kind of physical ailment or body aches and pains or even chronic illness, you can really clear out a lot of that by resolving and clearing out these energetic pockets of information. So go ahead and visualize that vortex absorbing, and you're going to absorb, you're going to visualize from the crown of your head going down. I want you to have like this vision that you're speaking to every cell of your body, because every cell, this is now imprinted in your DNA. Notice this. The exchanges that occur in sexual energy write your DNA, and it's what is going to be producing the next life. So if you're planning on having kids or you already have kids, note that your children are holding on to these programs if they are a product of that relationship. So it's very important to clear out all of those and become aware of how we're clearing out those programs, okay? So inhale deeply and exhale. And if you don't have children, that's fine. You're just focusing on what you're holding on to in your body. Okay. Inhale deeply and exhale, clearing it out. Very good. Okay. So now that you have taken back your life force, I want you to release. This is incredibly important. I want you to now again scan the body from the crown of your head down to your feet. You're going to release all of the imprints and all the information that you took on from your partner, okay? Because there's always an exchange. So notice what you took on from them, release it. And what you're going to have now is memories of exchanges with them that are non-sexual. We're just talking about energetic exchanges with them, behaviors, anytime that we had imbalanced exchanges with them that play out those roles, release all of that. So if it was a very abusive or traumatic relationship, this is a great practice for you to release all of that stagnant information. If it was a great partnership, just notice on letting go of any aspects of ourselves that we experienced resistance, okay? Just go ahead and notice anything that we had trouble learning in that relationship, you're going to be releasing out of your body. Beautiful, beautiful. Fantastic. Inhale deeply and exhale. Don't forget, your breath is incredibly important. Breathing, inhaling, and exhaling is the dynamic and the control that we have of our body to take and release. So when you exhale, the intention is to release. When you inhale, the intention is to heal, to receive, okay? So, and notice, you know, you're learning a lot about yourself through this practice already, but notice what information comes up. So as you're releasing all of this, you are now going to allow yourself to disconnect from that partner, and you're going to go through all your partners and review the same exercise, okay? So what I want you to do now is I want you to focus on that vortex of energy that you have in your sexual organs. You created a vortex of energy using source energy. Okay, and so notice this vortex of energy becoming, it's going to be changing color with every cleansing that you do. It's going to be showing, it's going to be expressing whatever it's clearing out. So we're now going to cleanse our multidimensional body. I want you to go to the root chakra. With this vortex, you're going to visualize that you're going to clear out any imbalanced sexual programs that were created in the root chakra. So these are programs, for example, of feeling unsafe, control, overly controlling, or imbalanced exchanges in those dynamics of protection and being and playing the role of being protected. It's also victim roles. Okay, man or woman, are you playing out victim roles? Any times that we are playing out fetishes, this is a whole other video that we will discuss some other time, but all of those are expressions of these imbalances, and we'll talk about that some other time. But for now, I want you to clear out that root chakra, taking out all of those programs that don't serve you in the root. Okay? Do we feel unsafe when it comes to sexual energy? Do we feel threatened? Does intimacy feel unsafe? Take a look at that. All of the aspects of whether we feel safe or unsafe, if we're fearful. This is a big one for most of us because of all of the programming that we have taken on, which is an inversion of ourselves. Inhale deeply and exhale. You're going to go up to the sacral chakra. Now we're going to clear out, bringing that white light, that vortex of white light. We're bringing down that white light, and we're going to clear out that sacral chakra. Notice any kind of imbalanced programs of giving and receiving. Whatever role we're playing in our lives, we're playing internally with ourselves. So go ahead and notice where we are holding on to stagnant sexual energy, stagnant programs, creative life force energy. Our sexual energy is very closely tied with our ability to manifest money, abundance, flow of creation in our lives. So if we have a lot of sexual trauma, we have a lot to work through in terms of creating and coming into our manifestation. That's why a lot of us that we have that kind of trauma just feel constantly stuck, and we can't implement, we can't move, we can't create. Okay, if you haven't had a lot of sexual trauma, there's emotional trauma that's connected to that. And just notice there's layers of this information. So as you're diving into this, notice what comes up for you and clear that out. Your relationship with creation, with manifestation, nurturing. Notice your relationships with all of those aspects of creative life force. You're going to go up now that you're clearing this out. And okay, so some of you might actually feel that you need to clear out some of this in the front and back of your body, okay? Because the chakras have a front and back of the body. So go ahead and notice how you're clearing out. The front of the body is the divine feminine, the back of the body is the divine masculine, okay? And so that is our creation to source, our direct connection to source. So notice when we don't have awareness of the back of our body, that's our spiritual self, our spiritual aspect of the body. So the more awareness that we have of our total self, we can work with these areas. So all of these aspects of fluidity, pleasure, sexual energy, feeling, to feel and to want. The thing is about wanting, okay? The things that we want to manifest. You're going to go up to your solar plexus now, the center core of your body. This is the emotional body. Go ahead and visualize clearing out all of the stagnant programs that don't allow us to come into our empowerment. And notice our relationship with sex and empowerment. How does that play a role in our lives? Okay? One of the most important dynamics here in the solar plexus that I want to mention is shame, okay? Anytime that we're playing out shame, victim, not being in a place of power, or shame of our sexuality, coming into our fluid sexual energy, it causes tremendous fragmentation. And all of that starts in the solar plexus. And if we have these shame programs with our sexuality and with our creative life force, it affects everything, our careers, relationships, how we see ourselves, and how we present ourselves in the world. So the ego is really going to be affected, the identity, the self-identity, and we play out wounded ego roles from that perspective. So notice as you provide this healing, you're releasing all of those programs of shame that you have in the solar plexus, okay? As you inhale deeply and exhale, releasing all of that out of the body. Very good. You're going to go up to the heart chakra, and the heart chakra, the contract here is self-acceptance. So where are we rejecting ourselves or not feeling worthy when it comes to sexual intercourse? When we are in the act of exchange with a partner, Where are we playing out roles of insecurity? Okay, so that is incredibly important, because the way that you play out these roles are going to really cause the next step. So whether if it causes pain or suffering as a result of that exchange, it defines the relationship. So clear out all of those programs that hinder your ability to see yourself as you are, without any filters, without any limitation or restrictions, okay? And it really has to do with anytime that we deal with lying to ourselves or not being true to ourselves, seeing ourselves for who we really are. That denial of the self is what's really playing a role. So clear out all of those programs in the heart chakra. This is also where we're clearing out grief, pain, sorrow. Men and women both, we are storing a lot of heartbreak and pain. So anytime that we felt like we were coming into this divine union, or we had these high hopes for a relationship, and we felt like that intention was mismatched with a partner, there is a fragmentation that occurs. So clear out all of those blockages in the heart chakra from heartbreak that are really heavily connected with your ability to create. This is your creative life force energy. Okay, you're going to go up to your throat now, and you're going to focus on clearing out all of the blockages in the throat, any cords and attachments that are here that hinder your ability to express yourself. This has a lot to do with communication, asking for your needs to be met. So anytime when we're coming into this divine sacred union, there is a fear of communication and expression. This is a huge one for a lot of couples, is that they have a hard time expressing their needs. Okay, and that plays a huge role in creating resentment. So what happens is a tremendous energetic blockage that is stuck here that over time manifests. And the origin of that blockage happened with how it began as a child. If you wanted to express or speak yourself, speak out. If your father and mother, one of those, played a role of quieting you or limiting your expression or telling you that you weren't allowed to speak, or what you were saying wasn't worthy, it's really going to cause the fragmentation that later on plays a role in these kinds of relationships. So notice clearing out all of those blockages. This is all about the identity of creation, whether we can express it. Okay, so clear that out. Very good. You're going to inhale deeply and exhale. Focus on releasing, clearing. You're going to go up into, now we did the throat, we're going to go up to the third eye. So this has to do with our intuition. So this is one of the most important chakras that get affected by imbalanced sexual exchange. Before we even decide to have this intercourse with someone, we already know if we are a match to them. The problem is that a lot of times we don't listen to the gut feeling and to the information that your entire body is telling you. So sometimes when we come into these partnerships, and it's not just about choosing a partner, this is even choosing when to have union, okay? If you are not in alignment with that union at any time, for whatever reason, whether it's anger, suppressed resentment, feeling unworthy, whatever it is, not being seen, you're playing that out, okay? So that's a really big one. So we need to address all of the times when you are not in alignment and your actions are not congruent with your communication, the inner dialogue that's occurring, the intuition. So I want you to visualize clearing out all of those programs in the third eye. Okay, clear them out of the third eye. Visualize spinning and cleansing out all of the programs that don't allow us to listen, to trust that intuition. And trust is incredibly important when it comes to sexual energy exchange. Okay, and that trust has to be from the divine masculine and feminine within yourself, within the partner exchange that happens. So this is as you're going through the chakras, you're going to have memories of these imprints coming up. Okay, this is how we work with the holographic aspect. So you're going to be identifying memories of times when you really felt that mistrust, or you felt like you weren't able to move forward with a relationship intimately. Okay, so go ahead and pull those out as you're clearing them out. You guys are doing amazing. Very good. You're going to inhale deeply and exhale. You're going to go up to your crown chakra. Now the crown chakra, as you know, is a center for manifestation, but it's also connected to our DNA and our RNA. So we as a collective are playing out collective sexual trauma that has as a collective been programmed as we come into the three-dimensional overlay that we're enabled to move through. Okay, and it's basically an illusion. The illusion of separation is one of them, but also the illusion of not being able to come into our empowered self, to this creative God self. Anything that's blocking that is going to be up here. And a lot of times I see my clients have a really deep blockage in the crown that connects to the root or the sacral chakra, because it's your creative life force in the physical plane. So as you know, as above, so below. Whatever's happening down here is also going to affect what's happening here, and vice versa. So we need to clear out and become aware of that. So your crown chakra, spinning it as fast as possible, clearing out all of those programs from the crown. Inhale deeply and exhale. Very good. Very good. You're going to go back to the sexual organs where you have your vortex, and you're going to notice that that vortex is much darker now. It has absorbed all of the cleansing that we've done from all the chakras. And what's going to happen is you're going to release it from the body. So I want you to visualize that you're going to see this almost as if its own organism. Okay, you're going to release it from the body, because on the etheric level it really does contain a massive amount of energy and information. So you're going to allow yourself to release it out of the body. You're going to inhale deeply and exhale with a very powerful breath. Exhaling out, you're going to push it out of the body. Okay, man or woman, pushing it out of the body down to the center of the earth. And I want you to visualize that the earth is absorbing, taking, and transmuting that energy into white light. Okay, you're going to see another vortex of energy at the core of the planet. It's transmuting that energy. Sexual energy, again, it's very heavy, it's very thick. So we need to be able to work with our intention. And you know, sexual energy also tends to sustain longer. So with your intention and awareness, you really need to create that you're destroying it and releasing it and transmuting it. Okay, it's very important that you do that. Any parts of that that are fragmented or left out can be used to manipulate or, you know, move you out of your center core. So be aware of that. Okay, be aware of that. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, now that you're grounded down to the center of the earth, I want you to visualize pulling up that healing energy again into the body, and you're just going to visualize filling yourself up with that healing energy. It's important to practice a very nurturing healing energy after this, because you've moved a lot of information, okay? And I will tell you about the side effects in just a moment. You're going to breathing in that healing energy. You've learned a lot about yourself. I want you to notice, out of that practice, what did you feel you were lacking the most in those exchanges? Okay, where is the imbalance? I'm sure you've been able to identify that by now. So what I want you to do is I want you to allow yourself to receive everything that you feel that you were not able to receive through those experiences, through those exchanges. And what you're going to come into is unconditional love for yourself. So I want you to visualize receiving unconditional love in the body, and you're going to bring that unconditional love into the sexual organ, and you're going to feel any kind of emotions of resistance, rejection, shame, disgust, disconnect, any aspect of yourself that does not want to connect to your own sexual organ is a fragmentation. So we need to help ourselves reconnect with that creative life force. This is creating a subconscious program blockage of your ability to create in the physical plane. So abundance, money, jobs that you need, relationships, all of that is a result of your relationship with this aspect of yourself. So make sure that you are providing a really powerful, unconditionally loving energy, and you're going to bring it up into the body, into the organs, all the way up into the center core. Okay? Inhaling deeply and exhaling. I'm sure you feel replenished. You're going to bring that energy up into the spine. The sexual energy really deposits itself in the spine. This is why we work on Kundalini energy. So you're going to visualize swirling that healing energy around the root chakra, the spine. We're looking at the spine now. So you're going to clear it out. Clear out the spinal cord, going all the way up into the pineal gland. The pineal gland is heavily affected by stagnant sexual energy. So go ahead and visualize clearing out the pineal gland from all of that. Any kind of residues, anything we missed, anything we didn't have a chance to work on this time. Clear it out. Very good, very good. You are opening, activating your body, activating the DNA, my love. So you're clearing out these programs. Visualize that you're going now to the cellular level of your body, down to the DNA. Become aware of yourself as a structure of infinite organisms of consciousness, okay, and all of that. You are cleansing and clearing that out, neutralizing any kind of programs that hinder you coming in as a strong channel of creative life force. Okay, clear that out. Inhale deeply and exhale. Very good. I want you to come back into the room now. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. Some of you might feel dizzy after doing this work, and it's because we have really rooted in a lot of these programs that have caused blockages in the body. So when we do a really deep cleansing, we're going to feel lightheaded, we're going to feel kind of dizzy, we're going to feel kind of tired, and that's normal. As long as you support yourself, nurture yourself, and refill yourself. It means that you didn't completely refill yourself. So if you feel tired, if you feel this stuff, bring in white light and fill in all of those aspects of yourself that we cleared out. Your intention and your awareness of the lack and the ability to have in your body is essential to your healing and integration. So I want you to visualize bringing that in, grounding and anchoring it into the center of the earth. Okay, very good, very good, very good. You guys did amazing. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to be scrolling up. I may have seen a question or two. Cedric, thank you so much for being. Joss, thank you for being here. I feel floaty. Yes, you're going to feel floaty for sure. That means you did a good job. So that's wonderful. Bonnie Bear, my hand chakras are vibrating. Okay, that's a good point, because what happens when we remove stagnant sexual energy is that our creative forces are now coming into play. So all of you that are healers, that do healing from the hands, it's a wonderful way to clear and open any blockages that you had. Don't forget, your divine blueprint is to create, to heal, to grow. So, you know, anything that's blocking that, and sexual energy is a huge one. That's a huge one, you know. So as you're clearing that out, you're activating and opening these, your ability to heal more. Okay. Cedric, is resetting cords and healing a lifetime process? Can resetting be a permanent healing? It can. Well, it's a lifelong process. It really is. You know, the thing is, and I have experienced this. I'm speaking to you from experience. I've reached a 0 point. But as soon as, I talked about this the other day, as soon as we begin to come into old programs or doubt of ourselves, we can easily come back into these matrix programs again. So to create a sustaining permanent healing, you have to constantly embody that conscious awareness and that unconditionally loving connection to yourself and to all things around you. All of these areas have to be energetically hygiene and cut. If we were aware to begin with, we wouldn't be taking on other people's toxic energy, right? So your awareness and being in the present moment is your power to sustaining the healing every moment, okay? Don't forget that every moment is also a choice of timeline. So you can change your lives, restart your life. Many different things can change as long as you're aware of what you're working with. So thank you for that question. The lifelong process is to come into unconditional love, I would say, it's never ending. Thank you so much, Bonnie. Thank you. Hello, Jerry. Thank you so much. Bonnie feels like she has a frog in her throat. And yes, you're going to be feeling those blockages come up. So this is an opportunity for you to clear them out. Whatever they may manifest in form, you might see any number of things. It's wonderful to clear that out. All right, let's keep going. Anybody else has questions? Your son came in. That's amazing. And I thought about doing this for children, not children, but teens, when they're going through their pubescent years. This is so important to understand what sex really means. It's a really heavy exchange, and all of that information that's happening in that exchange will affect everything, how they're creating in their life moving forward. So men and women, that's important. Christy, awesome. Thank you so much, Christy, for joining me. Veronica, Mary Lou, Trisha. Oh, Trisha, hi. So good to see you. Bonnie, this is those energetic boundaries I keep hearing about. Yes, the energetic boundaries are so important. And we're only going to be aware of how to apply those energetic boundaries when we love ourselves and we are honoring ourselves, okay? We become aware of ourselves. Thank you so much, you guys. I am so grateful to you for your questions and for joining me. All my love to you. Joss says Hosbi. Okay, Hosbi. Thank you so much for telling me how to say your name. That's amazing. Anushi, thank you so much. Thank you. This was perfect. I'm so glad. All right, my loves, have an amazing night, and I will see you tomorrow. All my love.